So now we're going to talk about your ad strategy blueprint. So what you have so far, you've created a Facebook page, whether that's for your product, your brand, business, or an interest related to whatever it is that you want to promote. So you have your Facebook page, then you put a post on your Facebook page, which links to your landing page and sales funnel. By this point, you should have all that sort of stuff set up. If not, go back to the previous module and make sure you set those items up. And then you should also have your targeting demographic profile. We've gotten a lot of questions in about people asking about using the tools and not being able to find keywords. Just keep expanding your profile. It's okay. It's not going to be an exact science because you're going to do a lot of testing, especially in the next module. You just need somewhere to start. So do the best you can, get a good targeting and demographic profile ready to go, and you'll be good to go to move forward and start testing. So now we're at what is the next step that we're going to work on right now. So you're going to start driving data through your funnel with a small test campaign. This means you're actually going to turn on a live Facebook ad and start driving traffic through your funnel and gathering data. Remember, when you start off in paid advertising, do not come in with the expectation that you're going to make money right out of the gate. Because remember, you're not spending money, you're paying to acquire data. This data is going to let you know what demographic responds best to your ads. It's going to let you know what images work best, what copy works best, and it's going to help you tweak your sales funnel. Once you do all that, that's when you scale and that's where the big money comes in. So you're going to test your ad and funnel to work out any bugs or errors. Believe me, it's happened a million times. I thought I've fully tested everything, but it wasn't until I actually started spending real money, even just a small amount of money, where I started discovering what was wrong, what needed to be fixed, making sure there's no data being lost, any of that sort of stuff. So you're going to do that as well. And then you're going to track the initial data from the test campaign. And then in the next module, ad launch, that's when we're really going to start looking at some of that data and expanding and building out bigger, better performing campaigns. Then you're going to segment, optimize, and expand. This just means you're going to start broad, which we'll talk about in a second. Then once you do that, start gathering data. Then you're going to start segmenting that audience into smaller audiences. Then you're going to start optimizing based off of what's performing best. And then you're going to start expanding your marketing. So your initial campaign, start with broad targeting. This is just going to allow you to get data coming in quickly. You'll be able to analyze some things with that broad targeting to start dialing in on what's working the best. So you're going to start with broad targeting, just meaning what you found as your total demographic. So if you found that your audience can range anywhere from 18 to 60, then you may want to start with an initial age group of somewhere, around 25 to maybe 55. Start with broad targeting, and then in the next module, we're going to start segmenting that into different campaigns. So your initial budget, just 10 to 15 bucks a day for this one campaign, and ideally you start that as soon as possible in this module so that by the time the next module ad launch comes around, you've had at least 5, 6 days of data coming in, $10 to $15 per day being spent, so we can have some good data to look at so that we can segment, optimize, and expand your campaigns. So then to start off with, let Facebook optimize with optimized CPM pricing. It's the easiest way to go. Facebook does a pretty good job of that. We can worry about doing some more manual bidding later on. And then create just one campaign right now with one ad to start. You don't need to get complicated and start creating multiple images, multiple posts, multiple ads, multiple ad types. Don't worry about any of that right now. Just get one campaign going with one ad and get some data coming in. So your initial targeting. Now, when you go to create your ad, like you'll see in the next video how to go about doing this. I can just give you a quick step-by-step process of actually creating an ad to drive traffic to the page post you created. But when you're in there, for your initial targeting, keep newsfeed and the right column checked so that you're advertising both on the newsfeed and the right column to start out with. This just maximizes the amount of traffic you're getting for this one campaign so you can get some good data coming in. And then in the next module, ad launch, we'll start segmenting those out so you can see the difference between how newsfeed is performing and how the right column is performing. But for now, just leave them both active. So The next part of the targeting screen is this section. So for this, first off, you're going to don't worry about the audience section. You don't have a custom audience at this point, so don't worry about that. You can just leave that blank. For the location, choose the best location. For me, generally for products that I'm promoting, it's going to be in the United States. For you, I would just choose one country, or if you're advertising for a local business, obviously you choose whatever local location that needs to be. But if your product can be sold all over a country, choose the most relevant country. For me, it's typically the US. For you, it may be different. Then for your age, remember, start with your broad group. So don't worry about segmenting into very tiny age groups. Right now, just start with the bulk of people that are going to be able to buy your product. Now, that doesn't mean if you're selling, so for example, a skincare product that, someday you may get one 15-year-old that buys your product. What I would do is choose the most reasonable audience, maybe 21 to 55 or whatever it is. Get a good broad range going so we can get some good solid data coming in. And then as far as gender, you can either leave it as all, or if you know that your market leans heavily towards male or female, for example, if you're selling a weight loss supplement, it may lean heavily towards women. Choose women, only women. You can create a male campaign later on, but if your product or demographic is kind of all over the place, it's not male or female, you can leave it as all. But if you know it skews to one or the other, just go ahead and select that. Then for your interest, you can plug in the interest that you came using the previous module where you gathered your demographic profile and interest. Plug those in here as well. And then languages, choose whatever languages are relevant to you. For me, it's almost always English. So I choose English and I make sure the just regular standard all English is selected, and just make sure that's selected because you don't want your ad being shown to people that can't read or understand your ad copy. So the next section is education, workplaces, more categories. Unless you know for sure that you only want to target, for example, if you're targeting, maybe college sweatshirts, then it would only be in college. Then of course go ahead and select that. But if your market doesn't 100% skew towards any of that, don't worry about selecting any of this right now. Just leave it all as is. And then lastly, your campaign and budget. So remember, here's your budget. You're going to set that to $10 to $15 per day. You can name your campaign whatever you want, whatever makes sense to you. And then just leave the bidding as is. Remember, you're creating an ad that drives people to your page post. So just leave this as is and then create the campaign and you'll be ready to go. So watch the next video. I'll walk you through exactly how to do all this, but just keep in mind these settings when you set up your first ad.